G'day everyone, it's Marty here from Marty's Garden and the Garden Creator Hub. How you going? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. I'm not sure what time it is. Anyway, let me know what time it is at your place and where you're coming in, tuning in from, what part of the world or what part of Australia. And for those who are here early, welcome. I did one last Thursday night and last Friday night where we cover all your gardening questions. So for those tuning in and watching the rerun, we get some really great questions here. And, I don't know everything, but I'll do my very best to answer the questions that you have for me. I get some really humdinger questions sometimes, and they can be a bit tricky. Sometimes I think people ask me some stuff and just go, I wonder if he can just answer this. But anyway, we give it a good crack and have a bit of fun at the same time. If you've been coming in and just watching the videos, I've been talking a bit about the Garden Creator Hub. We've got a garden chili tomato challenge just starting there, and it's going to be awesome. And you can come in and you can do the course at your own time and then go back into the feed, talk with us, other members doing it, and share photos and do the whole thing like in this live experience. It's going to be something I've never done before, but really looking forward to doing that. So hopefully I see you over there and you sign up for that one. And it's going to be a blast. We've also got a few guests that we've had on there recently. And yeah, we've had a lot of fun here making the show and putting questions together. So, welcome everyone. I'll just pull some across and say hello to a few crew. Hey everyone, about to change my phone and laptop. Have you got it changed yet? And you'll see a link. So you can go to school.com, the Garden Creator, and that's where you can sign up for the Grow Challenge if you wish to. G'day, Rick. Good to see you here, mate. Alicia from Melbourne Backyard Veggies, welcome. And Kayleen from Urban Homestead Artist. Hey, Marty. Hi, everyone. Looking forward to this challenge. Whoop. Yeah. Well, she's one of the ones that have signed up. And yes, she's down in Victoria, not too far from Melbourne, and already got flowers on her tomatoes. So she's doing really, really well. And a part of the Grow Challenge. We're going tomatoes and chilies this season. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Now, if you've got any questions for me, you put a Q in front because people chat and say g'day and answer questions and do all that type of stuff that you do in live communities. Put a Q in front of it. I'll see it there. I'll answer it. Can't answer everything, but I'll do the very best I can. And look, if you want to start off with the theme being tomatoes or chilies, I'm not a chili expert, and I know a fair bit about tomatoes. That's why I'm running the challenge in there and growing along with everyone. I've got a real problem. So you get La Nina and El Nino. We've got the whole thing happening now. I think it's El Nino is the one. Oh, I forget now. I'm getting confused, but we're going to get a lot of rain coming again. And I'm really worried about it for the East Coast, not only for me chilies, because it's been hard to grow chilies for the last few years. They just don't like it being wet all the time. And neither do the tomatoes for all the rain, you just get blight. And we had this amazing, really good spring. And if you saw, I had this video out, I was like, wow, look at my tomatoes. They're all about 3 foot high, just powering. And then they got to about 4 feet and I was starting to harvest quite well. And we had a week of 35-degree heat. And then storms and humidity and the blight just went through it. I've still got some. We did a fair bit of harvesting. But wow, man, it can move through fast. It was just the humidity just moving it around. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm praying that we get these new tomatoes that I just bought and some more chilies. And we got chilies in flower and we are harvesting at the moment. And they're harvesting tomatoes. But it's going to be challenging. That's for sure. So anyway, wish us luck. And hopefully you'll come along on the challenge with me. And if I have some failures, I'm just going to share them as well in there. Here we go. Melbourne Backyard Veggies question. So you know anything about broad beans? When to harvest? Mine are getting huge, so don't want to leave them too long. Broad beans. Look, I think it's like when there's probably someone else better to answer this than me. I mostly grow the snake beans, not so much the broad beans. So that's something I cannot really help with. It really depends on where you want to, with all types of beans, where you want them. Like when they're younger and fresh, you just cook them with the whole pod generally and the seed inside. And if you want to go right through and collect the seed. So it really depends what you want to do with them. But there might be someone else that's growing broad beans. I haven't done a lot of them. I mostly do the snake beans here up in the Mullumbimby, Northern Rivers, New South Wales, where it's subtropical. And then I do the dwarf beans as well. And I try to harvest them before they get the big pods in them. When they get the big pods, I feed them. I will still eat them, but feed them to the chickens a lot of the time. Hey, nice to see ya. And we've got how many tomatoes are too many? Answer carefully. It's a good question because I know we've been chatting like over in the community, and you said something you're going to do something quite special with your extra tomatoes, that you want to grow extra ones. So yeah, I think that's something maybe people want to answer in this comment feed here. It's all about lot to do with space with me, because airflow and humidity and stuff can be a real problem. Okay, mates, what's the weather like down there? Are you talking to me or someone else? It's like, well, you said rain come through here anyway. And it's a little bit cold, actually, to tell you the truth. Look and see, we've gone from 35-degree days to really warm nights to it's a bit cooler tonight. Alicia, I wait until they're pretty hard, but they can be picked when they fill out. Well, there you go. See, look, there's some answers. This is what it's all about. And you can get stuff like this over in the community as well, because sometimes, you just can't answer everything. Q, sometimes broad mites get into my chilies and beans. I have success killing them off with wettable sulfur or lime sulfur. Is there another way to get on top of them of what you know of? Broad mites getting into my chilies and beans. Probably, look, I can't really give you an exact answer here, because that's a difficult one. Pest ones is always hard, because then people have got to decide whether they want to go chemical sprays, whether they want to go organic sprays. Myself, I'm generally, when I get infestations, I pull things out and throw them away. I probably only about 5% of the time get out a white oil or a pyrethrum, and I'll get onto them early. If it's infested, I just get rid of it, because I just don't want them going through all the garden and hitting everything else. So there might be someone else that can sort of answer that a bit better than that. But what I do is I do mostly companion planting, and then I try and set it up for my pest problems, have my plants as healthy as possible so they can battle off the pests through having nice thick stem walls, and then building ecosystems around where I've got, little lizards and snakes, and not snakes so much. We don't like assuming snakes, but we got them, spiders, and what do we call them? Like I've got assassin bugs and those sort of things. Centipedes down the ground, but praying mantis, and so I really sort of set it up so I've got a full ecosystem going. We just had a little water dragon turn up, and he's down underneath the bottom tap now. I put a bit of water down there for him. And they're good for cleaning up the pests. He comes out and grabs pests around the strawberry area now. So, yeah, he's doing his little job there. So hopefully that sort of helps. The pest one's always a tricky one, because it's all about matter of choice. Broadband, do you eat the beans or pods too? They're not something I'm familiar with. Look, basic broad beans, I think you mean. Not so much. I just basically grow the snake bean and the dwarf beans. So broad beans, yeah, not really something. Maybe Rick in there might be able to answer him for him. He might have an idea. How to stop caterpillars putting holes in cherry tomatoes. This is a tricky one. Again, this is going back to that pest thing that I was talking about. I've been losing around about 5 to 10%. I try to get them early. If you don't have chickens, I just throw it in the chicken pen. They clean them up, eat them up. Eat the whole cherry, the whole tomato, and boom, that gets rid of that thing. But you got to get to them early, because I had one plant that I lost probably 90% in my romas to a worm. And you can spray like garlic oil and different things and that on them and around them. But again, what you're doing is you're sort of messing with the ecosystem when you start putting other sprays around and that. So the pest ones is a really difficult situation. But look, the more habitat and the more ecosystems that you have in place, the less problems you have. with pests, and it takes time to build them up. So you've got to sort of think of your companion planting. You've got to think of your high levels, your mid levels, your low levels. Are there small trees and bushes around? Do you have water for the animals to drink? Do you have a bird bath? Like I have a little bird bath because we have noisy miners. The noisy miners are great at cleaning up. They come down and they'll hang on the side of the tomato stake like that, and they'll grab the little caterpillar. So, things like that can really help. That's just how I do it. It's what works for me, but it's not perfect. Still get some pest problems, and I just, as I said, I just throw those extra ones to the chickens. Yeah, you just got to sort of work with it and just take your time, really, and just grow what works. Like I find we've got okra in again this year, third season, and there's this moth that comes around, it rolls the leaf, and then it gets in it. And you know how moths like make that sort of cocoon thing? It makes the cocoon thing under the leaf, and it breeds super fast, and then it just starts chewing on all the leaves, and before you know it, man, it's bad as blight going through the tomatoes here. So I really got to keep an eye on them. I may hit them with a white oil or a pyrethrum. I'm going to check which one's better. And because they roll underneath, and I can shoot, because it rolls up, I can shoot it up in there, and it won't go all over the rest of the plant and affect the rest of the ecosystem. So it's something that I'm thinking of if they come back, because I've planted a lot more okra this year. Kayleen says, I think my ecosystem just wiped out massive black aphid infestation on my cherry tree. It was all party of sorts of predatory insects. Yeah, this is the way to go, in my opinion, to do that. Now, I'll give you an example what plants do, and you can take this with a grain of salt. I don't have the actual links to show you where the tests and things were done, but they did these tests on tobacco plants with different pests attacking them. And what happens is, an example would be, they would put a certain pest on the tobacco plant, and then it would be sucking on the sap of the leaves, so to speak, right? So they tested somehow it could set up its own sort of like scent into the air, and then that predator would smell that scent and go, oh, okay, I've been asked to come and help and clean up this bug, and I'll get there. So a lady beetle might get there and start chewing on a lot of the aphids. And I know this is starting to happen now. There's lots of tests being done, and there's lots of things that I can go into that. But, you really need to confirm this via the test. So I'm really just passing on some word of mouth of knowledge. But this is because plants can't move. So they set up scents with their pheromones, and the insects that they send it to, and the insect picks it up and goes, predatory, goes, I'm going there. I can smell this. This is where the example of aphids are, and I'm going to go and chew on them. And a caterpillar, I believe, can eat sometimes up to 3 times its weight in aphids, one caterpillar. So, it can really, really do quite a lot. And thanks for sharing that. Abby, I love eating my broad beans both ways. They're really good rolled in corn flour or tapioca flour when small and fried. Yum. Check out our channel if you're urban homestead artist, if you get any chance there. It's, like we need to support more Aussies and get down there and have a look when you get a chance. And she's going to be Kaylin's going to be appearing on my show over at the community. So it's going to be not this Wednesday, but the next. And that is usually around about 9:30 a.m. Sydney time in the mornings, which we're running every 2 weeks now, having different YouTubers come on, gardening YouTubers come. It's really fun. And look forward to doing that. And we'll go here back to Alicia from Melbourne Backyard Veggies. So we've got a few different YouTubers here today, and she was just recently on the show over at the Garden Creator Hub. So check out her channel also in Australia. We've got other YouTubers over there. Leon, I think if someone, Kayleen, can write into the chat, it's Leon, what's the name of his channel there? That would be really helpful. Dean says, mate, what's your coffee thing link so I can support you? I will get that for you right now. And we will put it up. I'm just going in and doing a quick little search at the moment. I appreciate that. But look, we do have over at the, this is really nice of you. I do appreciate. I will put it into the feed at the moment as we're speaking, and hopefully this will come through. But we have something better. We actually have, you can do the premium membership over at the Gardening Hub, and I'm having like grow challenges, so they're going to be going one after the other, and then I'm putting in all these like a course sort of format that goes with it, and people can talk about it in the feed and stuff like that. And that's something that if you're really interested in supporting and learning and educating and being a part of something very new and highly educational, a lot of fun, that's the place I believe people should go, because that's where you'll be able to connect with me a lot more. But anyway, if anyone wants to support it, it's buymeacoffee.com/Marty's Garden, and that's every little bit really does help. So thank you very much, Dean, for that. I'll just put it down there while I have a little drink and show you my cup. I showed it to everyone this week. It's an old cup, and it says established 1898. And we're trying to figure out what type of cup this is. Have a guess and see if you can let me know in the comments box. It's got a little bit of a logo here. I got it at one of the op shops. There's obviously a lid. I think we've got the lid around somewhere. From memory, it was sort of like a bit of a gold lid. And established 1898. Now, someone said it would make a really good swear jar last week. Well, that was pretty funny. I just use it to drink water and different things out of. But it's quite really well made. Like, it's strong, it's thick, like not like the glasses these days. You drop it and bing, it just breaks like you get from Coca-Cola and stuff like that. They just make them for pennies on the dollar. So have a guess in the comments what that is, because I really don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. Queue with lady beetles. Isn't it a certain amount of spots or goodies to encourage the mass spots? No, it's perfect. So 7 spots are fine. I think the other one's called the 12-spotted lady beetle, and that's the one that's herbivorous. So the carnivorous one is 7 spots. The herbivorous is anything above 7 spots, and generally it's about 12 spots. They look almost identical. I actually learned that. I didn't learn that in college. I actually learned that from another YouTuber. I just wish I could remember his name. Another Aussie guy as well. Because I was showing it in a video, and he goes, no, Marty. Oh, Rob, his name is. He goes, he does the aquaponics. He goes, no, Marty, that's wrong. He goes, that's the bad one. And I'm thinking, I've given the wrong information. But anyway, you get that sometimes, that's just how it is. And look, we'll pull this up here. Leon's not here tonight. We don't know. Some people get pretty busy. But, we've got 2 YouTubers here tonight, so that's really fun. And including myself, number 3. Leon's channel is Leon's Homegrown. He has acreage in Queensland and does some hydroponics. He sort of mixes it up a bit. It's very new to the community, and be great if we could get him on the show. And also in time, we'll be getting more into here to doing some interviews on this show, so the Marty's Garden, but predominantly over at the Garden Creator Hub. And remember this, that if you can go over there and do that course, because people, this really is time to start now, like to get going. You can come in any time, but it's better to start now, because you're going to learn everything, and we're going right through the whole season. And people make heaps of mistakes. And what I want is someone to get a really awesome result at the end. So you can choose like cherry tomatoes, you can choose dwarf tomatoes in the course. It tells you which ones to choose from in your local area. And then you can decide whether you want to grow in containers, you want to grow in the ground in containers, you want to grow like the little crazy little dwarf ones that only grow this big, because you've only got a little area, you want to do it for fun. So many cool things going on. And really now is the time to get started. And if you've already gotten started, and you're growing already, we can look at how we can improve the crops and get them ready, especially if you're going to be on the East Coast with me and we're going to get this rain event. Things aren't looking good for that. But anyway, check out Leon's channel if you get the chance. We want to support all creators here, and on the Marty's Garden here and over at the Garden Creator Hub. Yellow ladybug likes the powdery mildew. Yeah, that's very true. But the problem is, if you see them turning up, means probably you've got too much powdery mildew. They just don't have enough of them to eat it all off. So I like to bin the powdery mildew or get it before it starts. Again, we had all that heat and then we had the humidity after it, and it got a lot of my plants, the powdery mildew. But my cucumbers and some of my tomatoes, which the blight, we're still going, we're still harvesting. So, but I've got to plant again, cucumbers and more tomatoes. Yeah, that's it. Rob Bob. Yeah, that's it. He's a good dude. And yeah, top guy. So basically, Rob he's been doing a lot of stuff on YouTube. He's really good channel. And I'm not sure if he's going to head over to the Garden Creator Hub. I haven't let him know or anything like that. But here we go. Look at this. Oh, look, I don't have the little button I used to have in the old software. I go, yeah, things would explode. And yeah, and the crowd would go, yeah. So thanks, Dee, for doing that. You've been such a great supporter all the time. And yeah, it's just wonderful. And it's unreal to have you actually over there, part of this Grow Challenge now. So there's 4 of us now, which is going to be a lot of fun. And so just to announce who we have, we've got Steve Thomas, and he's like a Queenslander. He's got a big farm out the back. I think he's sort of semi-retired, not sure exactly. And then we also have Kayleen from Urban Homestead. And we have one more, which I'll announce later on. She's not here tonight. But yeah, thank you, Dee. That's just brilliant. And yeah, I'm sure you'll have a great time. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you a bit more in there. Here we go. Yes, I agree. They come at the end of the season. There's plenty for them if you bin most. Are we talking about those lady beetles again? Here we go. Not another broadbean. What a hope. Hey, Marty, how long time follower? Hey, Michael. Hope all is well. I love growing chilies. Got any extra tips to help them grow better? I do. Yes, I do. Hopefully, like I said, we've got this like rain event coming, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be too gnarly for them, because I haven't been able to really be too successful the last couple of years with the chilies. Since I moved here, because they just hate being wet and wet and wet. They've got to be dry. They've got to dry out a bit. But blood and bone potash in a really good free draining soil is the way to go for sure. But you can there's a product called Yates Professional. Hopefully they still make it. I bought some a few months ago. I've gone to check it out at Mitre 10. They said, looks like it's not available. So I've got to find out more about it. But you can come over. We've got it's the tomato and chili challenge. And there's not a lot of difference between growing tomatoes in the medium and sprouting them and things like that. It's just when you sort of choose your varieties and pot sizes, really. The potting mix can be a little bit more sort of free draining and sort of move away. But another thing you can do is you can add a bit of gypsum, so you don't get any blossom end rot. You get a bit of calcium, just a little bit, and then a little bit of blood and bone, a little bit of potash, and and a good compost and a good potting mix if you're going that way. And you can't go wrong. And you just keep feeding it a little bit of that sort of over time. So yeah, hopefully that helps. But we're going to cover that much more deeply. I'm still learning about chili, so I'm taking my adventure chili journey into that community there. And yeah, I've got 7 parts already created in the challenge. So let's keep going here. I will see. Yep, I'm in premium too. So cool. Yes, lady. Yes, yellow lady beetle. Yeah. Look, if you've got them around, you've got too much. There's too much going on. You've got too much of that powdery mildew, in my opinion. How much for premium, Marty? Thanks, Rob. So basically, the community's free, right? So you can come in, you can chat to everyone and just chat, and just meet people and whole lot, and still ask questions and get involved. People are learning a lot of stuff. You can just ask the people that are here now, such as Kayleen and Dee, and backyard Melbourne backyard veggies, like there's a lot of thought going on. But anyway, look, I'll get to the question. I just need to make sure I'm back in the studio. So it's $19 USD a month, but you can come in and just do a month if that's all you need to, or you can keep going on, which is about 29 bucks Aussie, I believe, which is a bit under, just around about $1 a day. So yeah, it's still pretty cheap, and it's good going, and you get connection with me and do something that you've probably never done before. So hopefully we see you there, Rob. Anyway, let's keep moving forward. We got the same question here. So yeah, 19 US dollars it is, and you can come in and join in and be a part of it. It's a lot of fun. I will put the link again into the description here for people to go across. You can do it a few different ways. You can go in and just sort of like check out the about page and do it there. What I'll do is I'll just get it straight across here and give you, so you can go straight to it. Just give me 1 sec, please. And yeah, well, people are very interested, because I think it's just going to be a real blast. And I was a bit worried that people weren't going to come in, but I think everyone does that, right? You just worry about stuff, and will anyone come in, and will anyone like it, and all that. You put in all this work and everything, but yeah, we've got a few people already, which is just brilliant, and that's where it starts off. So I've put the link down there again. Hopefully that's come up. Here's a good question. Why are you wearing a hat indoors at night? So have you ever seen Costa from Gardening Australia? He's got the big long beard and he looks a bit like an elf. And they always say, will you shave it off? Will you shave it? Will you get rid of it? And he doesn't get rid of it. It's the icon, man. The hat. This is the third hat I've been through in years and years of Marty's Garden. Hat number 3. It's the icon. Look, I do have hair though. See? I'm not bald. Train chilies vertically. The pods grow at internode cages is the best stakes, and train them up, not out. Thank you very much. Great info there. And we're looking forward to people that are that have got this type of info to come in and share this stuff over at the community for sure. Thanks, Marty, for the chili tips. I've actually got heaps of chili sauce left over from last year. Happy to give you a bottle if you'd like one. Always happy for next chili, mate. Who wouldn't? We make our own. Jalapeno. I make my own sweet chili sauce out of jalapeno, and I've put in more. I think I've got about 10 plants in now. They're all. I've got one nice big one from last year that I grew on, and then I've got about 10 in seedlings. So I think I'm going to put them into grow bags, because if it's going to be a wet season, they'll drain away quicker. So I'm still working out. They're in small pots at the moment. It says here, the light will penetrate, don't defoliate, and free draining compost. Okay, so people are chatting. So just remember, you put the Q there. If we're talking about chilies, then for sure. Q, if you're in premium, is a tomato chili challenge extra? No. So basically, it's just you go in, because I've seen your questions before, Abby. You just go and join up. If you don't want to be in a part of the challenge, it's all free. But I recommend that you do and be a part of it. And you can come in and leave at any time. But yeah, just come in and be a part of it and have a lot of fun. People will have a blast in there, I reckon, including myself. Hi, Marty. I have 2 10-gallon containers of compost tea that's about 2 years old. I found back in my shed. I made it and forgot them. Should I tip it out or use it in the garden? Check it, and does it really stink? If it's just like really woofy and it's gone fully anaerobic, because that type of thing does go anaerobic and people bubble it and stuff. I've had friends fully into permaculture and they've used it anaerobic and it's still got nutrients in it. Because if you spread it out on the ground or on the lawn, it doesn't stink too much and bring all the flies and all that stuff, then yeah, it's still going to have some type of nutrient in it. But you've got to be a bit careful, because you could spread bad bacteria around if it's really rancid. If it's really rancid, take it around the back of the shed and pour it out. Other than that, if you've got a big bubbler and you can oxygenate the crap out of it, put a bit of extra nitrogen in it or some seaweed liquid or something, and it'll just kill all the bad microbes, and the microbes will change back to good ones, and then yeah, you can use it that way. I don't like to waste stuff if you can. Urban Homestead Artist says there is stacks in the free area. The premium is affordable way to have a pro beside you as you grow. Even today, I saw so much great info in there. Thank you so much, Kayleen. Yeah, it's been we've been going a bit over 2 weeks now, and all the time I see people saying, "Wow, that was so good, learning that. I never ever seen that before. Fantastic, oh, that's great, and then people just sort of, and the other guys that are people that are sharing the information in the comments and the extra information are really, really getting a lot of value out of passing on that knowledge, and people are making friends outside of me as well, sort of inside internally. And there's people in Brisbane, we've got people in Victoria, we've got people in Sydney, we've got people over in America, the UK, in Ireland. We had Cormac, he was the first guy, and he's from the Vine podcast, Permaculture Vine podcast. He was our first special guest, and he's an Irish permaculturist. And it's just brilliant. And so I just make sure I get it. Yeah, you're very welcome. This is turning out quite good, actually. The premium gives you access to the tomato and chili challenge. Abby, that's it. Yeah, the rest is free, unless you want to go super VIP and just drain me full of my knowledge. And I can help you. Then you can do that. Option is there too. But we've got one so far, Steve Thomas, I think his name is, and I'm helping him with his big farm, getting things going. So that's really a lot of fun as well. Let's go back here. I just had something and I missed it. How are your chickens going, and how's the worm farm? I remember your videos from years ago when you were based near Port Macquarie. You actually got me into worm farming about 5 years ago. Okay, hang in there, guys, and I really want to sort of do a mini deep dive into this because there's a few questions within a question. And Michael, long-time subscriber, viewer. The thing is with YouTube now is that it's about interest media, not social media so much. So you only get shown really what you're interested in and what you're searching at the time. So I can bring out videos and tell people updates and they just totally miss them. So that's another point of why we started the community, so we can keep everything updated and everyone sort of up to scratch with that. And no ads. It is just brilliant, isn't it? No ads. Gotta love that. Right, how are your chickens going? My chickens now are absolutely brilliant. We've got 2 sets of chickens. One we've got in a chicken tractor, and then one flock we've got out in the big system. They've got a big massive roof on them, and they're really happy and healthy. And we're just doing a little bit of work with them, giving some extra feed and stuff like that, and getting some nourishment into them for coming up in the summer. So they're doing really well. And I use the chicken manure around the garden, and I use it to feed my compost worms when I let it age. And he says, I remember your videos when you were based near Port Macquarie. Yeah, and that's what I started the compost business. So I got back into micro farming again and started selling the compost again in a more larger scale to the locals around there, because it's mostly retirees. And that's where I started doing more in teaching myself and trialing a lot of things about worm farming to get that compost really, really good. But the only thing I haven't changed, I've bought the big worm farms closer to the system, and I don't use the coffee grounds anymore. It's just too much running around. I don't have time for it. But the coffee grounds are really, really good if you can get them easy, and it's not too much of a waste of time. And it says you actually got me into, so it was North Haven near Port Macquarie, where my sister's got a holiday house and family go and visit and stuff. We had to move because it was just too expensive around here in the Byron Shire, but not anymore. And it says you actually got me into worm farming about 5 years ago. Yeah, are you still doing it, Michael? I hope you still are. I actually haven't announced it yet, but I will be doing a worm farming section and taking everything that I've learned over in the last 15 to 20. Actually, I just keep thinking about that. It's about 17 years now I've been worm farming. So I'm going to take that all over, and I'm just thinking about how I'm going to put it together inside the hub. So that's coming up. So if you are here, you've heard it first. It was actually Kayleen from Urban Homestead Artist that sort of mentioned that, and about doing and probably putting together like some challenges and things like that. So the worm farming one will be coming up in the future. First thing we want to do though is get people growing really good tomatoes and chilies, right? And just share that whole story. And, try and avoid those mistakes that many newbies make and we can all make when we sort of rush to things or just do things a little bit incorrectly. Big bumper harvest is what we're after this year. Good question, Tangel. I've got the same. What was that question? Was that the one? Sorry, I've missed something, haven't I? If I have, please put it back down there below again. I'm growing Thai basil. It tastes like licorice. It really does. I quite like it. Again, the rain last year just hammered it. It was doing quite well, and then it just didn't grow like the sweet basil. It didn't like the wet, so too much rain. It says, yes, I use fresh chicken manure all the time, just a little bit, and wash it down on the topsoil. Seedlings love it. Love it. Yeah, but only a little bit, right? Only a little. What I like to do and what I recommend is you've got a worm farm is to age it a bit. And so you don't have too much gases coming off it and then add it to your worm farm, let them eat it, and then they break it down into their poop and it becomes pH neutral, and all that nutrient from our chicken manure actually can become available and not burn any roots of plants. And I find probably one of the best fertilizers I've ever tried would be that one. Let's have a look here what we've got here. So we're talking about Costa a minute ago. Love Costa too. I met him once. He didn't want to talk to me much though. I think he was a bit busy that day. 111 members now. Yes, well, that's what we're at. It's really great. It's doing really quite well. Urban Homestead, no ads, and you actually get notifications, not random rubbish. That's true. That's true. I really quite like how the whole old follower system still works, and you get notified properly from who you choose to follow, not who you're told to watch, sort of thing. So yeah, that's pretty good. Michael says, yes, I have 4 worm cafes going. I haven't stopped since I learned to watch you. Man, for 5 years, you must be doing really well. Congratulations, Michael. I do take my hat off to you. Someone said, why am I wearing a hat inside? As I said, look, I do have hair. I've got quite a good, thick, lush, healthy hair. I'm very proud of my hair. The blonde hair's gone, though, because I don't surf as much and I'm getting older. It's gone all brown now. G'day, Marty. Hey, Tristan. Good to see you, mate. And, yeah, keep those questions firing away, guys. I may actually be able to answer a few of them tonight. It's been great. And a few people have been interested about becoming a part of the premium member over at the Garden Creator Hub. I got to take my breath while I have that. Just quick drink of water. Because this is really special thing. And when I get the support over there and people are learning and having a really good time, it makes me feel happy. And I'm like, oh, well, this is all worthwhile doing, because, everything we do, we question whether it's worth our time, right? And he says, I find I don't get all notifications to my email. Did you download the app, Kayleen? The A-Lean, the app, yeah, you really need the app. That makes a big difference. I went over to the app and found that it works really, really well for me. And, lots of all the notifications. And I do send out, if something really important, I put it out in an email blast as well. So it should be going out to your email too, hopefully, when you've signed up. That's all working efficiently. I haven't checked that. Excuse me, Dean. The biggest question is whether to chop chili plants or not. I'm worried it will stunt growth and chili type. I'm sure there's someone in here that can answer that question. You know who you are. I do and don't do mine. It just depends on what you want to do. I sort of sometimes just like plants do their own thing. But then, you see in nature a lot. And I remember there was a debate with someone and they said, there's certain insects that come along and they eat the tops out of trees and eat the tops out of plants. Then the plants naturally go out anyway. And that's a real common one with the cedar tree, where they wanted to get the big, long, straight trunks. And there's a cedar moth or something eats the tips out of the tree. So they ruin the tree. So that was where that story sort of started. So, yeah, each to their own. I think it's really just a preference. I know some that like to do it and some that don't. But, I'd love to hear what you guys think down in the comments box down below. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the link here again to here we go, the people that would like to go across and become a premium member and get involved in that class. It'd be great to see you there. Like, we're pretty much kicking off straight away now. We've got the units in there for everyone to get started. I'm talking about all the different heirloom types, talking about the best plant for you to grow in your area and the one to choose. You got small space, big space. Do you want to grow in pots? Do you want to grow in the ground? Are you confused about it all? Well, then choose these plants. We're going to be looking at different fertilizers, and what I'm going to do is I'm really breaking it down where it's a real simple way. That's this KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Because I've broken down my gardening now to be very, very simplistic and to get the results. And I'm even going back to some old content from Peter Cundall, way back from the ABC days. And I'm going to be mentioning and talking about his book in the hub soon. I've just got to go and find it again. An amazing book. And look, if you've got that, again, you can't go wrong. And I'm going back and looking at a lot of that content from Peter Cundall. I think he passed away a couple of years ago. God rest his soul. Lovely man down in Tasmania, and shared a lot of great knowledge. So, yeah, if you can get to the library, grab a Peter Cundall book. He's got about 3 out there, I believe, and I've got one of them. Let's keep going with the questions and keep firing away. Oh, yes, we got another one, another explosion. Yeah, you love it in there. It's a lot of fun. And, yeah, we're going to be growing along with us, Abby. All right, good on you. Stoked. Do you take the flowers off young tomato seedlings? If they get stunted, and this is one of the things I learned off Peter Cundall years and years ago, and I'm not sure if I agree with him, but this is how he did it. He would stress his tomatoes out a little bit. Now, he was down in Tasmania, and they got a shorter window. I've got a longer growing window here. So he would want his flowers to come on fast. So if you're in a shorter period window, you want to sort of root bound them a bit, maybe dry them out a little bit and give them a little bit of shock, and they'll throw a flower first, and then just really start feeding them up, and you'll get fruit quicker. Now, what I do is I actually just let the plant where I am, because I'm in subtropical, I just let it do its thing. Because if a plant hasn't got enough nutrients or something's wrong, it will drop the flower as well, or it just won't pollinate. So just let the plant do its thing. Let it go through the thing. Even like with cucumbers and stuff like that, just be a bit of patient. Sometimes the first flowers don't always go, but it's a sign that you've got the nutrient level right? If it's starting to flower, and that you've got the sun levels limits right, things like that. We're going to be covering more of that in the Grow Challenge, for the tomato and chili Grow Challenge, which I'm really excited about, because we've got a few people now that are interested. 2070. Yes, I use the app, and I do get the emails to that. Oh, that's really good to know. Really good to know, because I hadn't been testing that myself. So thank you, Kayleen, for that. And again, check out a channel, guys. We've got to support all the Aussies over there. So we've got 2 here at the moment. We've got Kayleen from Urban Homestead Artist, and Alicia from Melbourne Backyard Veggies. And we mentioned the other one, Leon. He's not here at the moment, but you'll see his thing in the chat, and hopefully he'll get on the show and introduce himself in the very near future. And let's keep going here. Yeah, Abby. Hey, wish I had the sound stuff. Tristan, what's your opinion on biodynamic? I'm loving the questions tonight. Way better than last week. I was like, all right, I'm going to finish this show early tonight, because there's just too many weird questions. But this one's really good. Biodynamic gardening. I've been using it for nearly 9 years. I also follow some basic permaculture techniques. I've got a really good story for you. So hang in there. It's not too long. But when I was studying organics, so I was doing my agribusiness at college in the year 2000. And so I was, getting away time, right? And I was working in agriculture before that, but I didn't go and do my course till then. And he took us, when we were doing the organics, we went away for a weekend, and we went up to a farm up the back of Brisbane, up in the mountains. I can't remember exactly where it was now. And he had an avocado farm, and it was all biodynamic. And he had a great story because everyone was laughing about him, saying, mate, you're an idiot. And all this thing, that's never going to work. He moved into the avocado area and his avocados were pumping. And he was really nice. He saw that I was super interested about what was going on. And he pulled me aside and said, hey, man, come and have a look at this. I want to talk to you about this stuff and give me a quick introduction to biodynamics. And I really like some of it. I'm not into all of it, but I think it's a wonderful way to grow food and to be connected to nature and everything like that. And I've learned a lot from that eye-opening, because it was the best farm I've ever seen. And the beautiful thing is he told me then, he goes, mate, everyone was laughing about me. And he goes, guess what? He goes, I oversee all this area now for kilometers and kilometers. I'm the consultant for all the farms. And I'm just like, yeah, good idea for the battler. You just love stuff like that, huh? So yeah, big fan of it. Sorry if I've shared that story too long, but yeah, it's just brilliant. Marty, once again, thank you for your videos over the years. You, along with Self-Sufficient Me, have inspired me and taught me so much on my journey with fruit trees, herbs, and worm farming. You're so welcome. Mark's a good friend of mine, and I'm also he invited me up to go fishing, but he's about 3 hours north. So I'm sort of like, well, it's a bit far to go fishing. But yeah, we might get up there soon. He's a great dude. And yeah, you can learn a lot from Mark. But so thank you. I'll tell him thanks, Michael, when I see him again or speak to him on the phone. He says, should you take the lids off compost bins when it's raining? Oh, yes, if it's connected to the ground, definitely I do. But I have most of my compost bins are big worm farms. I don't actually do that composting system like that anymore. I do it a bit differently. And I'm going to be, if people want it, like if they get over to the garden community, so over to the Garden Creator Hub, we go, hey, we're going to be talking about worm farming. It's going to go into the premium tier. I'm going to be doing the second part of the course. And then eventually, once people learn about the tomatoes and growing chilies, and we're doing these grow courses, you'll be able to then combine the worm farming and composting stuff together. That will be coming. But, I didn't want to launch that until I saw that it was going to be something that would come up. So we've got here, Dean James, a super sticker. Thank you very much, Dean. Sorry if I missed that before, but yep. Firecrackers. Dun, 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 dun. I don't have the sounds. Just brilliant. Thank you so much. And that's a wonderful question. And I am stealing questions out of you, I'll be honest. If I see anything that's really good, I'm going to steal the questions and make a video about it sort of later on down the line, because some of these questions are just gold and I don't think of them myself. Thank you. That's great advice. No problem. Like it's even better. Look, just ask the people who are here. I know I'm punching out about the community, but it is really just so much better than being here. If you enjoy the experience of being here, these live Q&As are going to be run over there as well, and you can get a little talking head, and I can actually hear you speak instead of writing text if you want to when we decide to launch into that as well. So it says here, Abby says, I asked last week about my asparagus being skinny and twisting. I've since learned it's because they are female plants. Can you tell by the seeds and the fronds, and should I replace them? Look, I think if you can eat them, because they take years and years to learn and to grow, just keep eating those and replace them. Just get some new ones and put some new ones in and learn as you go and grow. That's the whole thing about gardening is, we're experiencing it, we're learning it, we're getting better as we grow. And this is something that I'm just want to teach more and more of. We just need to get our hands in the dirt and just be involved more. I reckon they're probably still pretty good to eat, right? So I wouldn't be pulling them out. I'd just be getting some more. And if you've grown them successfully and you reckon you can do an extra round, then why not? I would put more in. Urban Homestead Artist, would you believe I have one tomato that's still growing from last season in Melbourne? Rocking microclimate. Now, we've got to see photos about that. I want to see evidence. I want to see proof. Put it over in the hub. Yeah, we want to see that. And I want to hear that story. That's a great story. And yeah, we already did this. I'm going to do it again. Thank you, Dean. Super sticker. Legend. And Alicia from Melbourne Backyard Veggies. I can find the Yates bud and bone but it comes with potassium. None come with potash that I can find, that maybe they take longer to make it. Just hang on 1 second. Yeah, so potassium, basically, I just need to double check on that. It just is a form of potash. So that would be totally fine. I'm going to actually look into that a little bit more and really get that down. I just had a bit of a blank there because I was thinking about the product that I'm buying, and I'm going to get it out and I'm going to actually bring it into the course, the tomato and chili course, because it's been one of my little secrets behind the scenes for when I'm just want to do a little top dress, especially more of my container gardening, because container gardening, when you're using the mixers, eventually the nutrients disappear, and then you've got to keep feeding, and so the plant will suffer. Where in the ground, you've got biology feeding the plants when you're feeding the soil, and that keeps going over and over and over. Where plants just pots eventually dissipate out, then you got to start liquid feeding more and things. So it's a whole different bit of a different game with pots. So, but yeah, I do use that also in that, and you can buy potash also in, so potash, potassium, also in liquid forms and stuff like that. So here's a great answer for it here. Potash is in the fertilizer section, potassium sulfate. Thank you so much, Will. Can you address container growing hub for renters, carrots and potatoes, garlic, etc.? Yes, but that's really a deep thing. And it'd be something, like I'd probably talk about over in the community for free if you just had some questions and you're renting and they're just simple things. And there would be lots of people in there that could help you address that as well. I know there's Dee in here, and she just become a premium member. And so she's doing the Grow Challenge. But she actually does a lot of worm farming and do a lot of growing in containers. So, and she's just one example of people that are over there. So let's keep going. Now, wood ash really is, we've got to be a bit careful about the way that we explain things here. So wood ash is used as a type of calcium more so, which helps with the growing of plants and different things. And so, yeah, and it does help with flowering and root growth and stuff like that. So, yeah, but you've got to be a bit careful overdoing it with wood ash. So it's something that I'd like to probably go over a bit more in the community if people want to get into that a bit deeper. But, the Aboriginals used to set fire to everything, to the big paddocks and stuff. So the animals would come in and eat all the new green grass and new green growth. And basically that's just sets it off, So yeah, it does really help. But it's got to be used sparingly because it becomes calcium once it becomes the material. And and so you can actually, in Asia, they burn the rice husks to create a form of sort of potash / calcium. And also they use that as a vermiculite in the pots, sort of like in their compost and things for potting mixes and stuff. There's a lot you can do with it, and then also you've got what's the name for it, where you burn it in a low oxygen state. Someone's going to have the name for that. I know they will. I'm not going to say it right here. Fire away if you know the one I'm talking about. They burn in a low oxygen state and it gets mixed with compost and it holds a lot of microbes in it. Just a question for you all. Alicia, do you know anyone with wood fire that don't burn rubbish? I use ash from my folks' fire. See, that's something I think you guys can discuss a little bit more over in the community between yourselves. No problem there. And take that much deeper. I know people would love to get into that conversation about wood ash. So that'd be great if you could do that. Here it goes. I used Rooster Booster from Bunnings and it gave the garden a fly infestation. Look, I've had a few people tell me about Rooster Booster and a few different chicken pellet products and the dogs digging them up. And I believe because there's no one around policing it. and I reckon they use like blood and bone in it as well. I've heard too many things now about certain pellets, and booster being one of them. So there could be a blood and bone element, but also, flies will come to chicken manure as well if it hasn't been dried and sort of like gone through and been processed. It really needs to be aged quite a lot, depending on how you're going to be using it. The longer you age it, the better. So I like to age mine quite well into the compost that I sell, because I usually have cow manure, chicken manure, and mushroom in it. I can't always get the cow, but Kayleen, she bought a couple of bags off me when she come to visit. She can vouch for that. It's very well liked, and I age that chicken manure for as long as possible, and I don't get any flies. And I'm doing quite a lot of it. Biochar, cha-ching, got it. Yes. Can anyone give us a breakdown on biochar and what it is? I'd love to hear what you've got to say about biochar in the community. It's great stuff, and it's not too hard to make. Yes, go deep. I do use it sparingly and make sure the charcoal is removed. I steep the charcoal before using it. You are referring to biochar. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the benefits of biochar, and also how it got so expensive because it got so trendy, and you were buying these little tiny bags of it for outrageous amounts of money. And it's so easy to make. Well, I wouldn't say it's so easy to make, but you can couple of goes at it and it's not too hard. It did rain a lot after I put the rooster booster turn, so maybe that was the prob. I think probably you might have thrown out too much too, mate. It's better those type of fertilizers, just throw out a little bit at a time more often than a big lot at once. That's what I recommend for nearly all fertilizers, to be honest. I've used fire ash, place ash before. Yeah. Look, if you've got that stuff lying around, we want to keep it in the loop. The closed loop. So the closed loop is anything that's coming out from outside that's getting used, that's organic. We keep it in there and keep using it back in our compost, in our fertilizers, in our gardens, and in close the loop. And the gardens just get healthier and healthier all the time, which is just absolutely brilliant. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this down again in the link here in the description for anyone that wants to go across and get a part in the premium tier and become a part of the new Grow Challenge. Then I would love to see you there. I'm just getting a little bit lost in my thing here. Here we go. So hopefully did that come out? I think it did. Yep, I think it just come out. So it's got the school.com/the garden creator hub 3162/plans. That's where you can get in and join in with me and the others there that are doing the Grow Challenge. And as I said, I will be looking at, once I talk to the community about the worm farming side of things. Let's go to here. Alicia, urban homestead artist. We have a pizza oven, but no ash really comes from it. My parents-in-law have a fire pit, which we use in summer. So I suppose I could use their ashes. Yeah, no worries. And look, if you can, throw it into the compost system and sort of mix it through. If you're composting, that's how I like to use it. When I do have we're doing the barbecue, I just throw it around on the garden beds and cover it over with mulch again. But I don't do it too often. It's just every now and again because I got such a big garden. I can never run out. So yeah, mostly when we're sort of just doing a wood fire barbie, we're doing it sort of that way. And you can actually get a little bit of the finer stuff, put it into your worm farms and use that as a calcium and as a grit and as a way to sort of just help the worm farm become a more productive system. And Kayleen says here, I used Marty's compost to amend a garden that had garbage soil that I bought as premium veggie mix, but wasn't great. It was aged compost, carted all the way back to Melbourne. Yeah, how's that? I think that's the furthest it's travelled. It's gone to Brisbane. But yeah, that's the first time. Yeah, you're the furthest traveller of the compost as far as I know. there, Kayleen. That's great, Dee. I'll talk to you guys about it over the hub on the weekend. Awesome. That is so good. I'm really enjoying that people are connecting together and really getting to know each other in there. It's really special. And, the places like this are becoming rarer and rarer, especially the way that the whole social systems and the algorithms work now. It just feeds you what you're interested in more so than what you're following. And over at the hub, it sets it up. You can choose who you can follow inside the community. And, you can instantly, when you join, you instantly can follow me, and you can remove it if you don't want to. Say, for example, you saw Kayleen there. You could follow her and all her posts, and you can decide who you want to choose and follow with. And you go, oh, we've got something in common. Maybe, like I'm into photography and fishing and stuff like that. And so people might want to talk to me about other things other than gardening and stuff. So you can find people that you really connect with, which is really, really cool. Let's go here. I just want to make sure I don't go too far ahead. Here we go. I put ash down and mulch on top before planting. Yeah, so similar to what I do, right? In spring and autumn, when I grow most of my flowers to feed up the beneficials. That's a really good way to do it. And thank you so much, Will, for sharing that. That is awesome. Marty, you missed my question. Look, I'm dyslexic, so I do from time to time, which I've got a reading disorder, so I sometimes miss things. And we're moving at a certain speed. And look, so I'm really sorry. So like I said before, if I missed a question, just put a big Q, put it down there again, and I will get to you. Sorry about that, Abby. And, you can also, because now you're a member over in the hub, you can just put @Marty there, and I will see it. And you can always put questions there and reach out to me. All right, so there we go, JL2070. That is great, D. Oh, I've already done that. Excuse me, see, I told you. Yeah, so dyslexia is a form of like a reading disorder. So things disappear in front of my eyes. Like I was telling people last week that my wife says, can you bring the washing in? I bring it all in. I'm like, and she goes, there's still one thing outside of. So no, there's not. She goes, yeah, there's some socks out there. I go, I double check. There's nothing there. I look out the window and there's the socks still on the clothesline. My eye, things disappear in front of me. It's really odd, but it's only like when I've got a lot of information around me. So a lot of text or a lot of mathematical things or something like that. It just bing, it's just gone. And it's not what they call it, daditis or something like that, where you just don't see what you want to see. Good compost that doesn't stink. Very true. No smell. Someone asked earlier, do you leave the compost on when it rains? So is that the lid? I think I did get to that one. So yeah, just you can take the lid off. But if it is raining, make sure you add a bit, you've got enough carbon in there. You don't want it to be getting already wet and then getting more wet. So you've got to have a really good carbon system that's going to be soaking up that rain, that you can be putting it through. And like I said, I do the big worm farms now, and I got them covered in shade cloth, and I feed the top with manures and composts and things, and do it that way. And my scraps go to the chickens and to the worm farms. So yeah. Hey, here's another one from the community. Welcome. And sorry, lid. So Abby, did I get that right? Was that the question? If that's the case. All right. Has anyone got any more questions? Like, it's nothing's regarded as stupid or silly or anything like that. What we're doing is we're just doing the general Q&A, going over stuff and learning and sharing together about gardening. And what I don't know, sometimes the community can answer. Well, actually, probably I reckon about 90% of the time, someone has an answer, which is what I really, really like. And we can take it even further over at the Garden Creator Hub, and where we've got the Garden Creator Tomato and Grow Challenge going on. And there's like 7 units in there already for getting you started and choosing the right tomato, choosing the right tomatoes for your space and place, whether it be big or small. Do we want heirlooms, or do we want the F1s, which are the specially designed hybrids? No, I'm saying more heirlooms, and I do explain why in there. Maybe you want to choose to grow the dwarf ones that only grow to a couple of feet in pots, or maybe you haven't got much space and you want to grow a dwarf one in the ground, in the corner. What do we feed them? How often do we feed them? How often do we water them? Which tomatoes don't split? All these things, we're going through. What fertilizers? When do we mulch? How do we keep the blight off them? All the best planting ways. We're really going to go deep into that, and also some parts about chilies. I'm truly taking my chili journey with you on that as well. So, yeah, that's happening over at the Garden Creator Hub right now in the premium section. And as I said, the freebie area is pretty good too. Everyone's really enjoying it over there. And so is this lady. And we've got, what would you consider the best value edible to grow? Whatever is in season right now at your place is the best value edible to grow. And I would say, if I was to just choose one, because I think that's the question, I would say the cucumber. Oh, it's hard because I'm thinking about it, the beautiful tomatoes, and I'm going, oh, had some zucchini the other night. Look, it's a really tricky one. But if my family said, only want you to grow cucumbers, I'd probably go, okay, righto, that'll do. Because they're just so versatile, and my daughter eats one every day. I like to do things not so much for me, but for people sort of around me. And my daughter loves cucumbers, and that means she'll eat a bit more other veggies and stuff with it. And I really, really like good fresh lettuce too. But do we class that in the veggie section? I'm not too sure about that. Anyway, the head of a cucumber, plant the thing that crawls around. If you chop it off, the head of the cucumber, plant the thing that crawls around. What do you mean crawls around? You've totally lost me. But what I do is I chop mine into sections and leave the seed in it, and I just plant like a more 5 to 8 mil sort of round bit with the seeds. Just put it just under the soil, a little bit of mulch over the top, and I germinate them that way. Works really great because they it ferments the material around the outside. So all that body around the outside, the material ferments and then provides a bit of moisture and food for the seed, because as the seed already has fats in it, so it's actually, as it's drawing the root out, it's grabbing the fats from the seed, and then the fermentation actually sets off in the material. So it does it with tomatoes and all types of fruits, and then sets off the bacteria. And so yeah, and you can really go quite deep into that, like Korean natural farming and all types of stuff. All right, I just try and do it the natural way as possible. Here is Abby's question, Marty. Here, oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Alicia. I use dynamic lifter for everything. Should I crank it up to blood and bone? My only app is collie eating it and digging it. I'd like to learn more about it down the track. No, don't. If your dog's definitely eating the blood and bones, just a dynamic lifter, it's going to go mental on the blood and bone. I'm really sorry, Abby, I missed that, because it's such an important question. I would be very careful. I'd be more into maybe backing off the amount of dynamic lifter you're putting out at one time, and just put out small amounts sparingly more often. So yeah, and that'll work better for you. And try and cover it with as much mulch as possible. So yeah, smaller amounts more often. And as you see it starting to disappear, you put a little bit out, and then you don't overdo it and create too much smell. And the dog, yeah, they love it. But no, don't crank it up to blood and bone. That's just going to make the problem worse. But thank you, Alicia, for getting that. It was important. All questions are important. And so looks like we've got that out now. And I really appreciate you being here. And also becoming a premium member is just really wonderful. And you're a founding premium member, which is a really big thing to me. Q, is there anything you won't compost? Question, I should say. I've been told if it ever lived, it can be composted. Yeah, I mean, I've met like people go, yeah, I got some Aboriginal in me. I'm supposed to have some Aboriginal in me too. And I don't go composting rabbit in my backyard, but each to their own. You can really, in theory, compost anything. But when you're going into meats and things like that, it is different. You do deal with different pests and stuff. So I avoid composting meats. We just, any spare meat that we've got, chickens eat it, turn into eggs. It's a great thing. Hi, mate. Do you struggle with spider mites in your tomatoes, and what is your action plan? Not so much. I've got a pretty good system going on with the good beneficial insects. They get rid of the spider mites quite quickly. So, you do that by companion planting and slowly over time building up more habitat of things that like to eat spider mites. So do a bit of research on that of what insects like to eat them. I just can't remember right now. Like example would be, ladybugs like to eat aphids, one of their favorite foods. So there would be something there out there. So no, I haven't had a problem with them for years. But thanks for bringing that up, Lisa. It's really about creating that good ecosystems for them. All right, let's keep going. Hopefully I haven't missed any other questions. So please don't get upset with me. I just sometimes miss things. I'm on my own. There's no admins or anything here to help. So I may miss the odd thing. Cucumber boats, but if it does happen, just put it down there below. And we've basically only got about 5 minutes to go anyway. We finish off. I never do more than an hour and 15 minutes, so I lose my voice. And we've got evening down under Fuller. But we'll be back here again next Friday night. It'll be Thursday or Friday, but I'll be trying to do Friday if I can. And then we've got every second week we're doing the live interviews over at the hub. So with our YouTube friends. I have issues with nematodes in my soil with potatoes. I grow them in styrofoam box, halfway fill in the rest. That's a good way to do it for sure. Nematodes can be a real problem. The marigolds, African marigolds, if you plant them around, they've got something that's secreted out of their roots that the nematodes that attack tomatoes and all that variety of tomatoes, potatoes, tomatoes, chilies, things like that. They all attack the same variety. That really does help, and we've been planting them out. Made a bit of a difference here. All right, 2 spuds plant per box. Yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And if you're in your area, maybe you can let us know what. Well, we're just about to finish up, so I don't think it really matters. But it's something we can always talk about over at the hub if you're over there. All right, so what I'm going to do now is get ready. Everyone can say goodbye to each other. If you haven't given us a thumbs up in here, please do. I don't know about the hype thing, if that works or whatever, if you want to hype it up. Thank you for anyone for your super chats. Thank you so much for anyone that's given over at the Buy Me a Coffee. And thank you if you've just come here to watch, you've participated, you've turned up and been a part of this amazing community. God bless you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate you. And also those who have become premium members over at the Garden Creator Hub. It's going to be a great ride. We're going to be growing some tomatoes and chilies. And then if you really like that, we're going to grow some other things in the season. And we'll chat about it inside there and go, hey, do we want to really expand this worm farming thing out? I want to find out if people want to take that direction in there. Abby, you're ever so welcome. Here we go. I'm just going to put these out quickly. Hopefully I don't miss anything. I don't have any music. What's this one say? You didn't give us a fish update, lol. The fishies are over there over the corner. They're doing pretty good. They're my wife's fish. We've got some quail now too. She bought some quail. But it's really weird showing like animals sort of in Facebook, not Facebook, in social media these days. They're just going, why are you doing like this? Why are you doing like that? And I'm like, I don't know. Like someone said I didn't have a roof on my coop the other day. And I'm like, man, I don't have to put up with that. Can't you see? It's like there's a 20-foot roof by about 6 foot wide, more, about 8 foot wide on one side. Beautiful big tarp, so anyway, I'm getting off on my little rant here. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We're going to not this Wednesday, but the next. We've got a live show with Kayleen from the Urban Homestead Artist channel. and she's going to be there and a welcome guest. And we'll have her here first. Before that, a quick 10-minute interview, and then we do the about a 45 minutes over there and have a deeper dive chat, and also talk to community members inside, because we can talk to them and hear their voice and all that stuff. That's really cool. And so looking forward to that. There's more coming up on the gardening show here, and I'm looking for questions, really good questions that people ask over at the hub and here in the show that I can put forward as content, because people asking them here means they want them other places, and I reckon that's a lot of fun, answering questions on the show. And we'll do some walk arounds in the garden and show you what's going on and what's going on, and how I had the big problem with the tomatoes and how I'm going to get them going again, because, oh man, we've lost a lot, but I'm grateful, and it's still happening, and we're moving forward. So see you next week. Thanks everyone for coming. God bless. Happy gardening. And I'll end the stream now before I lose my voice. Quick drink of water. Oh, no one said what this glass is. Have a think about it. If you're around next week or you're over at the hub, let me know. Established 1898. I'm still trying to work that out with that logo there. It's got me baffled. All right. Ciao, guys.